after retiring, the couple moved into their sprawling plantation, which is named Sherwood Forest. No, it's not. What's wrong with my mouth? It's named Sherwood Forest, which is in Virginia, and had also been owned at different times by President William Henry Harrison. That one's going to trip me up all night. It's a tough one. But in 1862, Mrs. Tyler's husband had been gone for a few days. The 41-year-old mother of 7 kids, all under the age of 15.
Hey, I saw something just the other day about a living descendant from a president. I wonder if it was this one. I'm making stuff up, but because I don't really remember. But I remember he had like a bunch of children with his first wife, and then he had a bunch with the next one too. So in total, he had like 15 kids, and so there's still some living descendant, direct descendant from him. Anyways, I just happened to see that the other day, so it's funny that you brought that up.
Even if you find out later that it was a completely different guy, a different story, this that does exist within the story, because his grandson, I think he was who are we talking about? President Tyler was 77 when he had his infant child. So his infant child which was like of his 7 with Julia, his infant child. So, he ended up dying. So then when his infant child is now 77, he ends up having his last baby at like the age of like 70 something too. So actually President Tyler's like grandson, or maybe great grandson, like it's not like great, it's like just his great grandson, because these guys got it on until they were old as shit and making babies like way on up in life.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's just his great grandson or his grandson still owns that house that I was just talking about, the Sherwood Forest. Sherwood Forest. Too many R's, guys. So it could be the same guy. But so the 41-year-old mother of 7, she wakes up from her sleep. She had been frightened by a terrible dream that her husband had suffered a stroke and died. The dream had been so real that Julia was unable to calm her nerves and decided to see for herself. She flagged the James River steamboat that regularly passed by their plantation, took the 2-hour road trip to it's not obviously a road trip. She took the 2-hour trip to Richmond and went immediately to Tyler's hotel. She was totally relieved to find him not only alive, but in good health and spirits. They had supper together, and Julia prepared to return home the following day. But the next morning, as Tyler was starting to wash and dress, he collapsed, having a massive stroke, and he died within hours. And it played out exactly as Julia had dreamt it would.
How crazy, but also how sweet that
she was there.
That they got to spend the last day together. Imagine if they had cell phones then, she would have just texted, "You okay?" He would have been like, "Yeah," and she'd be like, "Okay," and went about her day.
Everything's fine. Right. You're right. This wouldn't have been there for them. So Julia lived out the last of her years in Richmond, and after her death in 1889, she was buried there at her husband's side. But one thing that I left out, the plantation that they moved to and retired in is also a haunted location. The spirit there is known as the Gray Lady, or the Lady in Gray. I've seen it both ways, and was most likely a servant from the 18th century. So clearly, that's not our first lady.
No.
That means that the plantation was haunted prior to them getting there. Isn't that crazy? And not only does this bitch have ESP, but she's like, I want that one right there. Because it's haunted. She knows this shit. But since then, Julia's spirit has been seen there too. Believe it or not, Julia Tyler has been seen tidying up around the old furniture that is also, tidying up around the old furniture that also only appears in ghostly form.
Wait, the furniture?
Yep.
There's ghost furniture.
Yes. Yes. Hold on. Julia was said to really like dolphins, and these particular pieces of furniture, whatever it is, like I think it's just one cabinet or something. I don't have the fancy term. It's a fancy cabinet, but that piece of furniture had dolphins carved into the wood.
Quick question. Where did she ever see a dolphin to fall in love with it? You don't have
Virginia has dolphins, don't
They must, and I just don't know
Richmond?
this.
When she was on that dinghy or whatever she had taken, her road trip over to Richmond.
Along the river?
She flagged the James River Steamboat. Yeah, that's what it was. She was on, river dolphins.
River dolphin. Okay.
But there are also reports that the spectral form of John Tyler has been seen and appears proposing to Julia. This happens to take place in the Blue Room at the White House, and I imagine that was just a very good memory for Julia. She seems to have been very much in love with her husband.